I'm standing here in the raspberry trellis, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what it takes to grow a food forest and how much practice you get in being patient. The food forest, a mature food forest, takes about 25 years to develop. So a lot of what we're doing now, we will not see the end fruition of the plan until probably 10 or 15 years down the road. Now, but the raspberry trellis, we've been working on this for about, this will be the third summer. We planted the raspberries in this trellis. They really struggled. We tried to water them. Some of them looked dead. We have had to transplant. But what we are finding now, for the first time since I have lived on this property, which is about 31 years, we have a measurable amount of raspberries instead of just a few handfuls, which we have in the refrigeration shed. What's happened here is that we have put some things into place. We put the trellis in here. We've also done some companion planting with some yarrow and beets, and the yarrow is doing great and the beets are not doing as great. But we've also allowed this alfalfa to grow up in the raspberry trellis, because we know that alfalfa fixes nitrogen in the soil and makes it available for the raspberries to grow. We wanted to leave it here at least temporarily, but what we are finding is that because the alfalfa grows really tall, it's also giving some partial shade to the raspberries, and what we have noticed is that the ones that are in direct sunlight seem to struggle a lot more. And an example that will tell you that you are doing something right, and you have to look for all those little signals, is some of the plants that are growing in this guild where we've done a lot of the mulching. Right down here, this is a plantain. This is a plant that you would typically find in your yard, and it's going to be like 2 inches tall and flat to the ground. And you can see that this plant, the leaves are huge. It's about 10 times the size of one that you would normally see in your yard. The other thing that I think really indicates how healthy this soil is and is getting to be is the size of our violets. Our violets are typically, what we've seen is around this size, but this one, this cluster, and a lot of the other violets that are in this guild, they're just getting enormous, and they are making a lot of babies, and all of those violets are doing their job in this guild. I'm standing next to one of our black currant bushes. We have 10 of those on the property. We did harvest a lot from those on Sunday morning and on Saturday. This bush is picked pretty clean, but these were put in last year and they were full of black currants when we went to harvest them yesterday. I'm standing here next to a fence post that we recently took the fencing off of these fence posts, and we're going to use these vertical growing spaces to grow something that likes to climb. The growth that was on here was enormous, and it took up a lot of space in the garden and really didn't have any productivity, and it also created a lot of shade for some of the growing areas that we wanted to have here. So the plan in this particular space is to move our line in about 6 feet and install a grape arbor so that we can start to grow grapevines. The other purpose that this really serves is it completes the task of removing all the fences from the property. We very often have thought that if we want to be welcoming to the people in the neighborhood and the people that come through here, fences were not the way to say hello. And so putting in soft boundaries like a grape arbor or a wildlife hedge still gives the sense of boundary, but is very welcoming and gives people something pleasing to look at.
My name is Nancy Bloom, and I am Diana's mother. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the history in our family of the popcorn that we grow. My parents were farmers, and they took a magazine called Prairie Farmer that would have ads in the back for things to sell or things to buy or things to give away. And my mother happened upon this, that she could get popcorn. That's the kind of corn that you can save the seed from year to year and grow popcorn. So she sent for this, and she was very surprised, but she got about a teaspoon or a tablespoon of popcorn. And my dad planted that, and of course then he saved seed for the next year. And he always grew popcorn then, from then on. And he passed away in 1998, and my brother kind of took over the popcorn business. Last year my brother said he had 22 rows of popcorn, and he ended up with 240 pounds of popcorn after he shelled it all. And he said he wasn't going to do quite that many rows of popcorn this year. It's a very nice small seed popcorn, and it's a small puffy white popcorn with really no hulls to it, and it really is very delicious.
Thank you.